As we've been saying, and it's a true fact of life, that this man was taken to be a complete and utter idiot. And yet an idiot that was promoted, given honours and all the rest of it. And not only that, whilst people like Alan Brooke were attacking him, and Beaverbrook were attacking him, and Churchill was attacking him for basically murder of Dieppe, and for the buffoonery of him in general, the media promoted him in a positive light. They didn't want to tell the general public that here is a divvy, a complete head the ball, head the basket divvy. Needs to be shot, put out of his misery and the misery of others that he inflicts himself upon. The media told lies, promoted him, and people say the media actually tells the truth and displays things as they are. No, it does not. In the war it was all hype, and it had to be hype when you've got a man like this who has got a Hollywood style. Okay, like Attenborough said about him, he was a very stylish Hollywood kind of actor. He would have fitted well into Hollywood, and his performances were planned out. So whatever he did, he thought out beforehand. That was the only thing that had him going as anything reasonable of any grey cells going. He was very subtle to promote himself. He was daft as a plank of wood, freebie too, practically. But when it came to fashioning his own life with the media, to promote his own life, to make his life stand out as being the one, the man, he could very well do that. He's very skilled in that. Okay? Come to another issue. Some people may not have heard about this, but the TRS-2. Okay, it was a plane, reconnaissance plane, fighter plane. Now it was in advanced aeroplane that we had just after the war. We were creating this. And it was in fact better than the F-111 that the Americans were seeking to build. It was far better than that. And of course we got the Australian government purchasing the plane. If it came off the assembly line, they'd put in a nominal order. And of course the Americans were interested, but only interested in the design and the make and everything else that went into it, so as to take steps their end to make it an even better plane. Now, Lord Louis Mountbatten, German, went across to Australia. He saw that a great deal of orders had been put in by Australia. And he went across there and he scuppered the pig in lot. He said, you don't want to buy the TRS-2. Don't want to buy that. And he destroyed it. He destroyed the order. And he went around destroying the orders for the TRS-2. That was wicked. The Australians then went for the F-111. Why did he do that? Because I don't know. I mean, if the sailors and those around him of other forces said he was completely mad. Absolutely effing mad. That was madness. To scupper British industry with a plane that could have revolutionised things. As it was, the TRS-2 then began to lose favour, the orders then began to dry up, the government changed, and so did the attitude towards the TRS-2. So he scuppered that. And there was hundreds and hundreds of people then put on the dole. And of course, our industry, air industry, started to go backwards. He helped it all along the way. Not only that, what's he got to say about the government of Harold Wilson? Anybody know what he had to do with that? In 1967, Mountbatten wanted to overthrow the British government, Harold Wilson's government. You can see this in the work The Plot Against Harold Wilson. Also in The Spycatcher and The Defence of the Realm. Yes, this German wanted to overthrow the British government. And he said he would back up an army takeover of Britain. At the time, it never came forward. It was only laid out. However, when Harold Wilson took charge of the government again, re-elected in 1974 to 76, Mountbatten then came into the fore again. You see, what was happening here was twofold. Mountbatten belonged to the elite. Harold Wilson was against the elite. So they wanted Harold Wilson out. Because the elite wanted their way of life, their fox hunting and everything else, the big mansions and so on and so forth. They wanted that style kept up, and the only party to keep that style up would be the Tory party. So they got to get rid of Harold Wilson, and they accused him of being a communist and a spy. And then when these things didn't work, they said, right, overthrow. So, between 1974 and 1976, we see the army on the streets going towards the likes of Heathrow Airport in their tanks and armoured vehicles. And troops on the ground. As an exercise, it was called, which didn't follow through. The great big chiefs, the generals of staff, ordered that as a precursor to the overthrow of the British government. In other words, treason. But it never fully came off. And Mountbatten said to these chiefs who've never been named, and all accept they have to be the chiefs, the generals, because they're the top men. The troops will not listen to anybody else but the top brass. Mountbatten wanted to take charge, to be the Prime Minister, to be the governor of this country. And he was willing, as soon as they got the rest of the troops out, and if they were to go and surround Buckingham Palace, for instance, and BBC, the main news network, and the throne of England and the United Kingdom, Mountbatten would have taken his position as the ruler of this country, United Kingdom. Brian Crozier, all right, called upon the army to take over, and it was Walter Walker, wasn't it? Walker, that retired army general, who actually wrote a script for the Queen to read out upon the overthrow of the United Kingdom. So here we have acts of treason by Mountbatten and the senior army officers, generals and the like. But it never came off. We don't know why it never came off, but it came close to it. Very, very close to it. All because the wealthy wanted to keep a lifestyle going. Back in a sec. Last part.